Hello and welcome. I'm Connie Douglas from Great Stamping with Connie, and this is my product class. The product today that we are using and featuring is the Waves of Inspiration suite, or collection, I guess is more correct. There is a bundle. There's a Waves of Inspiration stamp set and coordinating dies that you may have purchased. They have been available for a few weeks now. And there is also some stunningly gorgeous designer series paper foils and gems that are also part of the collection. And those items are only available while supplies last, and certainly not past May 2nd. So this product class features those. If you have the class kit already, you know that you received half a pack of the designer series paper, a quarter of the package of the foils, and a package of the Waves gems. If you do not have the class kit and you would like it, I do still have a few left, not very many, but I do still have a few. And you are welcome to email me to get more information about that. My email hopefully is showing up in the description. If not, I will certainly make sure that it is in the comments of this video after we are finished, but it should be in the description part at the top right now. So thank you for joining me. You are welcome to watch this video and craft along. If you do not have the Waves of Inspiration bundle, you can certainly substitute in any of your own stamp sets, dies, inks, whatever you like, and follow along with the layouts, or you can just, craft in whatever way my cards inspire you to craft. That's the beautiful thing about crafting. There are no right or wrong ways to do anything. There's always lots of options. So I will show you how to put together the 4 cards that come in your kit. Your kit, as I mentioned, does contain that product. This is a product-based class, so it contains that product. You will also receive all of the cardstock that you require to complete the 4 cards, and then and envelopes, actually, so you can mail them as well. So everything you need to complete the cards will be there for you. There is also a tutorial that will include all of the measurements and a few basic instructions for assembly, and I will email that to you as well. And then you can always refer back to this video to watch it again, stop it or pause it as you need to go back and create these cards. And if you just want to use the pieces to create on your own again, that's totally okay. Alrighty, I am going to switch this down and we will get started with some crafting. So this is the stamp set that we are using, the Waves of Inspiration, and it is a wonderful stamp set. It is going to be available in the new Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. So you will be able to purchase this for the coming year because that catalog does not actually go live until May. So starting in May until the end of April 2023, you will be able to purchase this stamp set or the Stampin' dies. And if you purchase it in a bundle, of course, you save 10% on the cost. So that is awesome. If you are interested in the kit for this class and you do not already have it, please do reach out to me via email. You can reach me at greatstamping@gmail.com. Okay, and I will leave that there. It will get covered up and it will come and go as we craft, because I do want to have my crafting in the view of the camera. But anyway, if you are not on my mailing list, I also invite you to go to greatstampingwithconnie.com and you can sign up for my mailing list there, and then you will receive notification of all of the classes that I'm doing, all of the events. I host a number of events where you get to go into your craft stash and use, different things that you have, and we create together. And, as well as these product-based classes where I send you product as well as kit, the paper product for the, oh my goodness, my mouth is not working. So I send, in a product class, you will receive catalog product along with a kit to complete the cards from that class. So, alrighty, the first card that we are going to work on is this one, and hopefully you can see that. I have embossed the background with the seashells embossing folder, which is perfect for ocean paper and things. So in your kit, this piece will come to you embossed. Just so don't worry if you do not have that embossing folder, but if you do, then lucky you, because it's an awesome embossing folder. Coordinates with the Friends Are Like Seashells bundle. So we have your standard card base. This is thick basic white cardstock, and it is 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. It will come to you scored, but likely not folded. So should probably mention that the kit for this class that includes all of the catalog product, the designer series paper, the foil, and the gems, along with all of the card pieces, is $33 if you are local to Wasaga Beach and want to pick up from my front porch, or $38 and I will mail it directly to you. So that is a choice that you can make. So actually, before I put this on here, I am going to attach my designer series paper. So I will give you in the tutorial all of the dimensions for these pieces so that you can cut them, and you'll be able to create the card just like this. So I am going to use the multi-purpose liquid glue because my base piece of cardstock is embossed, and when it is embossed, your tape runner doesn't always stick. It doesn't always get in the grooves and things. There isn't really an up and a down on this, so you can decide which way you want this. I have this one with this large shell there, but perhaps I'll do this one the other way around just to make the cards slightly different. So I have just glued that onto there, and then the second piece I am going to glue towards the other edge of the card, and I'm just leaving a little bit of a gap in between the two pieces, which will get covered up by my sentiment piece. I'll set that to the edge for a moment. I have used basic gray for my sentiment. You can use whatever color inks you have, or whatever colors you like. My tutorial will give you the colors that I've used, but you are certainly welcome to substitute with what you have in your stash. Or if you prefer, you certainly may place an order. I'd love to have you do that through my online store, which you will also find at greatstampingwithconnie.com. So if you go there, you can find everything. You can see all of my blog posts and be inspired for your crafting, as well as get to my store. And you can also see all of the events that I have upcoming. So it's going to give this a little bit of a clean. This is the Simply Chamois that I'm using to clean my stamps. It's quick and easy, and it's very handy when you are doing videos. We also have a piece of the silver foil, so you will receive some of this in your kit. And I am just going to cut the ends on an angle. And then get the bits out of the way. And then I've just threaded it through to the back. And then the idea is to go back up to the front, which there we go. Okay, and then just place it about there. You can put adhesive on here. In fact, I think that I will put a little bit along here just so it doesn't end up sliding, when I send it or whatever. It'll be held in place. So I've just put a little bit of adhesive there. So now when you are threading this through, you just want to make sure that you don't touch this part to the adhesive, so it doesn't stick before you're ready for it to stick, and you don't get adhesive on this part of the foil. So that's just kind of centered. There we go. And then I am going to adhere this to my card using dimensionals. So they're little foamy, double-sided pieces of foam that stick like crazy, and they sort of poof up. They elevate your whatever you attach them to, in this case my sentiment, just to give your card a little more dimension. And now we are ready to put this onto the card base. So again, I am using my liquid glue so that it gets into the crevices. If you haven't used this liquid glue before, you do not need a whole lot of it. In fact, I do tell people to be a little bit stingy with it because it is a very strong adhesive. But if you use too much, it will ooze out from whatever it is you have glued. And although it does dry clear, it is shiny. So you probably don't want it showing on whatever your project is. So just don't be generous with it. Be kind of stingy with it. So, okay, then we have, these are the wave gems, and as you can see, they are beautiful. They are Night of Navy, Pacific Point, and Coastal Cabana, which are the colors in the designer series paper. So use this easier to pick these up. And I'm just going to, you can see I've sprinkled a whole bunch of these just randomly all over the place. You can put on however many you like. If you want to add even more than I have, that's fine. Or if you want to do fewer, that's okay as well. When you are adding gems to a card, we generally suggest that you use an odd number. It just seems to be a little more balanced looking when you do that. So a little bit of something. Just gonna move this guy over here. There we go. Okay, so there is our first card. Quick and easy. These cards are not difficult to make by any stretch, but I have designed them to allow you to recreate them so that you can make them at home over and over and over if you wish. So here is our second card. This is the stamp, and I just realized that I didn't have it mounted. So I just grabbed a block there. This stamp, if you have it, you realize it does require a very large block to mount it on. These are clear blocks. Just going to set that to the edge. So this time we have a piece of, again, the thick basic white, but it is cut 11 by 4 1/4. So it's just cut the other direction. You can cut your card bases this way for cards that open, that are landscape, or as I did here, it's a top fold. There's no right or wrong, just some differences. And then we have a piece of Night of Navy to layer on, and a piece of basic white that we will do our stamping on. So on these large stamps, I find it easier rather than bringing your stamp ink pad, as is sort of the standard, and doing it that way. I find it easier to leave the block this way and bring your ink to your stamp pad. Coastal Cabana ink that I am using. So again, you can use whatever sort of turquoisey blue you have in your craft stash if you don't have Coastal Cabana. But that is the one that I have used. I think I have that inked up well enough. You may have noticed I used lots of gentle tapping when I'm inking up a stamp, and that's what you want to do. And I'm going to put this right down at the bottom here. It may actually have come off the edge a little bit, and that's okay. We don't need it completely on the cardstock. It's okay if it comes off a little bit. And I just realized that I don't have my dies here to cut out our little pelican fellow. So, okay, there we go. I'm supposed to bring my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I did not. So I have a little bit of a white border here, but that is going to get covered up by this die. This is the blue foil. You will receive the blue foil in your kit, and you can cut this with the dies. So, okay, and I don't. So, to attach this, there are adhesive sheets, but I do believe I forgot to use them on here. When you have something as fine as this, it's usually a good idea to use the adhesive sheets. It just makes it a little bit easier to adhere. But if you haven't, no worries. I will just put a little bit of glue on the edge here, and then on all of these little joining areas that are just a little bit thicker. And you can see that I am not using very much glue at all. Again, you don't want to be generous with this glue. You just want a very thin streak of glue. And you don't have to have glue everywhere. It will hold down. If you just sort of hit some of the high points, shall we say. Okay, I'm just going to put this onto the bottom here. The other nice thing about the liquid glue is that it does give you a moment to just slide it around a tiny bit if you need to. Okay, so that's on there, and then we can attach this to our cardstock, not this piece, this piece. So I'm just going to put this onto my Night of Navy layer. And it did, I don't know whether you can see or not, it did come over the edge a little bit. I'm hoping that that will be absorbed, shall we say, by the Night of Navy cardstock. But if it's not, I'll just give it a little trim. It's not quite, just a, as I was saying the other night, just a smidge over. I'm just going to trim that. There we go. And now you won't notice that. Just a little eyes. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a push down. There we go. Alrighty. You also have some strips for stamping your sentiment. I have used the Happy Birthday sentiment from the stamp set along with Night of Navy ink. You don't want to go too close to the end of your strip of paper so that you have some room to just sort of trim that on an angle. Side, and I need to give this just a little bit of a clean because I will be using it again with different colored ink, and we don't want to mix Night of Navy with Calypso Coral, which is the next one. So, all right, and then I am just going to cut this again on an angle, and I am going to trim it about there. So this isn't measured. I just, I just cut around the stamped area, so it doesn't need to be any particular length. It just needs to be, I guess I'll say, shorter than your navy foil. But again, I will give you some dimensions for cutting your navy foil. And then the easiest way is to just trim your foil after you put your sentiment on, and that way you can judge the width and you can get the same angle. So it's possibly a little wider. I'll just take a little bit off there. There we go. So that is ready to go. And then you have in the envelope, you will have two of these die cut seagulls, perhaps. I'll say seabirds. I'm not exactly sure what kind of birds they are, but I do need to get my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine for this guide. So excuse me for one moment. Sorry about that. I thought I was organized. Well, as I try to be organized, but certainly I thought I had everything, but clearly I missed that piece. So these, if I can get them out of the package, there we go. These are the waves dies. So there's two of the waves. There's one for your seagull, or no, pelican. There's two for sentiments, and then there's some clouds and some layers for your clouds and the birds. So there's lots of different dies in this set to help you create a whole scene, shall we say. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm just going to set that to the side for a moment, and then this. I stamped this one in gray granite, and I did remember to get out my Stampin' blends, even though I did not remember to get out some of the other things I needed for this card. So I'm just going to stamp this guy right down here. I'm just using a scrap of basic white. You will have a piece of basic white in your kit that you can stamp your pelican or whatever image you happen to be using. If you don't have this stamp set, certainly you can order it. Just head over to Great Stamping with Connie and click on Shop Now, and you will find it. But if you want to just use something from your your own stash, you can do that as well. So this is the mini Stampin' cut and emboss machine, and it is, well, number one, it's cute. It folds up. It's very compact. It does not take up a lot of space on your table or your workstation or your shelf. You're storing it. My die cutting machines do not get stored because they get used so often. I use these, well, really every day, because it is a rare event for me to make a card without either a die cut piece or an embossed piece or both. So I am just lining this guy up on here, and then did I jiggle him? I'm wondering if I should put a little washi tape down, but it's usually okay. Should I take my chances? I don't see any washi tape on my table right now. And then I'm putting, oh dear, no, I should get some washi tape. This is very handy for just holding these small dies in place. And I just want to, let's put it on my hand so it's not quite as sticky. And then I will get this lined up and just stick that on there, and that should hold him. You also want to stagger your plates. Not sure if you can see on the edge there. I've just got one plate a little further ahead than the other plate. And that is the easiest way to get this to feed through. So, sorry, I'm kind of jiggling you. So, there we go. Set that to the side. And then we can take this off of here. Didn't quite get all the sticky off the edge of that, but that's okay. It was off of here. So there is our pelican. This. And then I used a couple of my Stampin' blends. I have the light gray granite, and I have one of the new natural tone Stampin' blends. This is SU 700. So I just use these to add a little bit of color to the pelican. So it isn't quite all just a line stamp piece. His feathers are filled in. There we go. And his beak is orange. These markers have a brush end and a fine tip end. So this is the fine tip end because that's a fairly tiny beak. So there we go. Just a little bit of color to add to him. And then we are ready to put these things on. So when I was making this card, somebody said, oh, put him on an ankle. I thought, oh, that's kind of neat, because sometimes these things are not straight, but it just kind of looks like I didn't get it straight, I think. So I'm not sure that I care for him on an angle, but anyway, it was an interesting idea. But I think that for this one, I'm going to put it on straight. You can put yours on however you wish. And I'm just going to lift this piece a little bit and tuck this underneath here. So I did put some glue on there, but it's narrow, and I can just lift it a tiny bit to get that underneath. And then here's the birds, and these are very tiny. So again, you want to just get a little bit of glue onto them. And these can go anywhere on your card. Oop. Drop one of them here. here. It was very similar to what I had on the first card, but it worked for the first one, so it'll work for the second one. The this can go onto your card base. So some things that you may wish to order if you don't have them in your stash would also include dimensionals. I'm not sure if you use dimensionals in your crafting, but they are awesome. They just make everything pop. So I love them. I use dimensionals a lot. I use gems a lot, although there are no gems on this card. It's kind of unusual for me, but it didn't really need them because there's so much foil and there's all the shine from the foil. So okay, and I'm just going to put the sentiment up near the top here. There we go, and there is your second card, all finished. Alrighty, the third card uses the back, or what we sort of think of as the back, because the blues and the greens are sort of what we look at as being the front, the waves, the water colors. But the back of this paper, so there's the front, it's blues and whites and things. But the other side is all these gorgeous orange tones and yellows, and I think it makes a really interesting look, and it's a wonderful card. So I have used this side for this part. If you want to stick with the blue, you certainly can. This is Pale Papaya and Calypso Coral, which will go just fine with blue. You are welcome to, put the blue side up. That's the beauty of our designer series paper, is that it is two-sided, so you can do it whichever way you like. So here we have another strip of the, well, not another strip, but a strip of Pale Papaya cardstock, and I am going to stamp my pelican on that with Calypso Coral ink, which is a darker orange. It's more like the dark orange that you can see in some of the paper here. So I didn't clean my pelican stamp, so I will do that just before I stamp it. The gray granite is lighter than the Calypso Coral, so it wouldn't be the end of the world, total disaster or anything along those lines, but it's always a good idea to clean your stamps. So I want to stamp this just near the top because my sentiment is going to go across the cardstock at the bottom. So put him near the top. There we go. He looks a little crooked. Now my posts are crooked. See, there you go. Maybe I'll try him one more time. In case anyone was wondering, I have included double-sided cardstock in your kit. That's the crafter's joke, is that the cardstock is double-sided. So comes in handy sometimes. You can stamp something a second time and then you can choose which one, because see, I didn't get that stamped as well down there. So I think I'm actually going to go back and use the first side of this guy. I don't think he will notice that he's on a little bit of a tilt there. Okay. Actually, while we have that open, you have strips of cardstock, and again I have used the happy birthday sentiment, and you want this one towards the end of your strip once again, because we've left room to attach our linen bow, and that is a double layer, or double bow, not a double knot, but a double bow of linen thread. I have tied the bow for you in the kit, so For anybody that does not like to tie bows, no worries. I did that before I sent the kits out. So you will find that in one of your envelopes. Now, hopefully I've used the right piece of cardstock here. It's layered onto the Calypso coral. Yes, okay. It could have been too long, but if it had been too short, I might have had to modify my card ever so slightly, but it is not. So I'm going to put some tape runner onto this and then attach it to the Calypso coral piece to make a border. That'll press down. And now we can start to assemble. So this is going to go. Oh, I didn't color him, did I? It's okay. Color him even though it's already attached to the designer series paper. That won't matter. So this just goes completely top to bottom, and you can put it in as far as you like. I've left about, that looks like about pushing towards 3/4 of an inch. Okay. Where did I put my markers? Here they are. Okay. So I'm just going to color him again with the gray granite Stampin' blend. Just to make him fill in his feathers once again. And add a little bit of color to his beak. There we go. Okay. And then this will go onto the card base. Bone folder's a very handy tool. Nice crisp edges in your folds. It's an absolute must if you're doing anything, any 3D projects where you really need your corners to be square and your edges to be firmly burnished. This right onto here. And then the sentiment is attached again with dimensionals. I'll put the bow on after. So we'll just put some dimensionals on here. And this guy is longer than the others. So I'm going to put an extra one on. I'll do 3 on this piece. These are very sticky, but when you have something that's long, if you don't have it supported, sometimes it sags a little bit. So I just like to have that extra one in the middle to hold it up. And then this just goes across the bottom like that. Glue dots are, they really are your best friend for attaching bows. So I'm just going to pull this off of here, and because this is so fine, I'm just going to give this a little bit of a roll so that it's a little bit smaller than the size of the glue dot, so that it doesn't stick out sticky all over the place. And then just attach that there, and you may need to trim the ends on your bow a little bit. You can just see. And there is the 3rd card finished. Okay, the 4th and final card is this one. So I have my thick basic white card base again, standard card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. You get a pack of thick basic white. You can use that for all of your card bases. One package will do it all. You can use colored cardstock as well if you like, but basic white will cover everything. Now, You will cut your own piece of foil. I will give you the dimensions, and I have embossed this with the Splatters embossing folder from the Stripes and Splatters 3D package, and this will fit into the mini cut and emboss machine. So if you have the mini, you can use this one. If you have the regular one, of course, you can use that as well. If you do not have this embossing folder, you can emboss the foil with anything that you do have. And if you do not have a die cutting machine, well, first of all, you need to put it on your wish list because holy mackerel, they are awesome, and you should have one. They are totally awesome, actually. But you can just use plain foil that you've cut. It will still be wonderful because it is mounted on cardstock. It's shiny and the foils are beautiful, as you will see when you receive your kit. Okay, so I have used the You're So Totally Awesome sentiment again, and I've stamped it with Night of Navy ink this time. This shape is from the Beautiful Shapes, the Hexagons. They are one of my absolute favorites. I love the Hexagons. It was quite interesting. I was at a retreat last fall, and the woman that was hosting it was giving away some door prizes, and one of them was a set of dies that were hexagons. And the woman that I was at a table with, she won them. And it's like, oh my gosh, those are wonderful. I love that shape. It's great. Stampin' Up! Has got to get some hexagons. And then the fall mini catalog came out. No, I guess it was the January to June, the one that's out right now because they're brand new. It came out and there they were, hexagon dies. So it's like, yes, thank you. It's like they had been listening to me, which they do, but that's not why we have hexagon dies, because that catalog would have been completely established before I made that comment. It looks like my foil is just a little bit longer than I need it. So I'm lining it up at the top, and then I will just trim this little tiny bit off of the bottom to make it even with the card stuff, and hopefully with the card base. Okay, so this is just going to go right onto our card base. And again, you can put it over as far as you wish. I've gone about ½ an inch on this card, so not quite as wide as the last one. But again, there's no right or wrong. So, and then I'm going to use dimensionals once again on the back of this one. And you can put this towards the top, towards the bottom, whatever you like. I do like it at the top, but maybe, yeah, I think I'm going to go towards the top again. And you can put it, as close to the edge or as far from the edge as you like, again. And then we need some gems. Where did I put my gems? Here we go. And on this one, I think I'm going to use these Coastal Cabana ones would work better if I took the lid off, wouldn't it? So put, I'll put one on the top. I think that's what I did the last time because I just have a little bit less space at the top, it looks like. So this will just kind of pull your eye so that it all looks fine. I don't know about you, I tend to put gems on and then I lose them immediately. It's like I have to put them down to see whether I like them there or not. This could actually be just a little further. There we go. And there's your fourth card. So those are the cards for this class. I'll just set them all out here so you can see them once again. There we go. Okay. Oops. Oh, lots of glare on the foil, isn't there? That does not work too well. But there we go. All right. So those are the four cards. And again, if you are interested in having the kit to make these cards, the kit includes half a pack of this designer series paper, a quarter of a pack of the foil, and a full pack of the gems that we use today for our cards. It also includes all of the paper products that we have used so that you can complete the cards, and 4 envelopes as well. So your cards will be ready to mail as soon as you finish them. If you are interested in getting the kit, reach out to me at greatstamping@gmail.com. And then when you receive your kit, you will have a printed tutorial with the measurements for all of the pieces so that you can do the cutting that you need to do, but you'll also have all of the measurements if you wish to recreate cards like this or similar to this in the future. You can use these layouts again and you'll have all the measurements handy. And then you can refer back to this video because it will be on Facebook, and I will also upload it to YouTube, and I will send you the link for that when I send out everything else. So do get in touch, greatstamping@gmail.com. I would love to send you this kit. So thank you once again for watching today. I am Connie Douglas from Great Stamping with Connie. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. So if you don't have a demonstrator and you would like one to help with all of your crafting needs and inspiration, I would love to be the one that you select. So please reach out to me. Thank you again for joining me, and we will see you all very soon. Have an awesome rest of the day. Bye for now.